And hello, welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Daren, Jaime. Today we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough as well as across New York City. Coming up, we'll delve into the critical need for employers to adjust their practices in response to the mandated wage increase in New York State. Then, we'll explore the common reasons individuals discontinue therapy and underscore the significance of finding the right therapeutic match. After that, provide essential details for students regarding registration at Bronx Community College for the upcoming 2024 spring semester. And then lastly, we'll spotlight a company that is significantly contributing to the cleanliness and overall well-being of homes, as well as offices throughout the Bronx. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. Hello, everyone. I'm Daren Jaime, and you're now watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on Eminence channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Some things have been going on throughout the course of the past week. We'll take you through it with some Bronx updates. And we kick off with city news. New York Mayor Eric Adams' administration has officially issued a 60-day notice for migrant families to secure alternative housing. During this period, migrants will engage with caseworkers navigating the next phase of their asylum journey. Councilmember Pierina Sanchez highlights that the city council, in response, has voted to increase shelter capacity by expanding housing vouchers and also expresses concern about the insufficient support from the state. Mayor Eric Adams implemented the 60-day time frame in October for homeless migrant families, citing the necessity to alleviate strain on the shelter system overwhelmed by asylum seekers arriving from the southern U.S. border. The Adams administration has consistently cautioned that securing a new placement within the given period does not guarantee another bed. Despite this, the mayor, alongside other city officials, assured they would prioritize families. Efforts will be made to place them in proximity to their children's schools, minimizing potential disruptions to their education. Well, in other news, MTA's Tap to Pay fare system achieved a milestone of 1 billion taps, that in 2023, signaling widespread adoption. Accessibility enhancements are on the horizon, with plans for continuous expansion in the coming years. Now, in 2023, Omni was successfully integrated in all MTA train stations, buses, and the Staten Island Railway. A significant development includes the deployment and activation of the initial Omni card vending machines through the entire MTA system. Now, simultaneously, the new mobile ticketing option is the pipeline for the Omni mobile app, poised to replace the current eTix app. Riders will be able to seamlessly tap their payment, go right to the turnstile with Omni, and then use either their bank card, an Omni card, or their phone, provided they have Express Transit card configured in their digital wallet. In health news, after the holiday season, the coronavirus cases on the rise again. Increasing cases of COVID-19, along with influenza and RSV, have compelled health authorities to reintroduce a mask mandate for the city's public hospitals. While recent COVID-19 figures haven't reached the peaks seen during the pandemic, several crucial metrics reveal noteworthy increases according to data. In December, daily COVID hospitalizations surged by 153% based on the city's most recent batch average admission data. Now, arguably the most dependable, albeit not highly specific indicator of COVID's recent upswing, it lies in New York City sewers. Wastewater samples revealed a 372% surge in coronavirus detections within a week based on latest numbers. New York City Health Commissioner Ashwin Vasan recommends city residents avail themselves of the most recently updated COVID-19 vaccine coupled with a flu shot to protect them. Switching now to community news, access to nutritious and affordable food within medical facilities. It's been a challenge for healthcare workers and their patients. Taking a groundbreaking step towards food equity, Every Table proudly announced a transformative partnership with New York City Health and Hospitals. Our Bronx Net reporter Jonathan Calixto was on site for the grand opening of their inaugural location, bringing us in-depth look into this innovative initiative.
With a mission to make nutritious food accessible to everyone, Every Table announces its latest partnership with New York City Health and Hospitals.
To see everybody enjoying it and saying, wow, thank you, I can afford a good, healthy meal at a reasonable price is so satisfying.
As the first Every Table location to open in a Bronx hospital, for Jordana Bailey, Chief Operating Officer at NYC Health and Hospitals, it is helping address healthy eating concerns in the community.
That we make sure the Bronx is one of the #1 communities to really reverse these changes and ailments to make a healthier lifestyle for everybody.
The partnership between NYC Health and Hospitals and Every Table will continue with more locations opening throughout New York.
It's just a beautiful synergy. And so making sure that folks, as they're here getting the care they need, can then come down and get a nutritious meal as they're either staying here or as they're recovering.
Mark Cole, General Manager of the Every Table location at Jacoby Hospital, has seen the impact of meals from breakfast to dinner options has had on patients, workers, and families.
These are meals that a lot of people don't have the ability to get home and cook a full meal, have a vegetable, a protein, and a starch on the same plate. So yeah, and at the price that it is too, it makes it a whole lot better for families.
The Every Table location in Jacoby Hospital will be open to serve the community around the clock, one nutritious meal at a time. Reporting for BronxNet, Jonathan Calixto.
And thank you, Jonathan. That is all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but we'll have more open when we return.
Hello, BronxNet. Happy 30 years. 30-year anniversary. Boy, that went by fast. And also, my 10 years here at BronxNet has gone by even faster. I have a show called Just Give Me the Mic. My name is Deborah Coco. And I just love everything about BronxNet. What I've learned here, I've actually taken my studio production class, my field production class, and doing a show here has opened up so many avenues for me. It led me to acting and meeting some incredible people. I've been hosting and just having an incredible ride. So I still love coming to the studio and having my face-to-face interviews just like it was day one when I came into the studio. BronxNet has opened up so many opportunities for people within our community. But nonetheless, happy 30th anniversary and keep on helping people to create their own dreams within the media industry.
I remember when the Bronx did not really have a media outlet properly representing the people of the Bronx.
BronxNet provides for the community by being a community where people can be empowered to share their voices.
We are in a really great place technologically. We've got all the resources that we need to be effective.
Whether it's through cameras, storytelling, editing, we have provided those services for 30 years.
BronxNet's mission is to be a voice for the community.
To educate, to inform, and to inspire.
And you can be a part of it. We've built studios for you.
And we are back in a significant development impacting workers across New York State. The Department of Labor announcing an increase in the minimum wage. Here now to share more is the author and employment law attorney, Stephen Mitchell-Sack. And Stephen, thank you so much for being with us. As we take a look right now, we understand that New York is going to see an increase in the minimum wage. How is this looking pretty much for those who are working behind the scenes here?
Good morning, Daren. It's wonderful. I mean, they're improving their hourly rate. It's now $16 an hour, everybody. So make sure you're aware of that and make sure that you get paid properly.
And when we talk about the $16 an hour, this has been a long time coming. We know that the governor had talked about seeing this happen. Legislators talked about seeing this happen. How powerful is this, given the fact that although it may be $1, it still means a lot to so many more people?
Well, not only that, if you work more than 40 hours a week, that dollar becomes $1.50 for every hour that you work over 40 hours in a given week, Daren. Also, if you are making the minimum wage and you work more than 10 hours in any given day, you are entitled to an additional 1 hour of pay, even if you work 1 minute. So that's another $16. We call that spread of hours. It's very important for our viewers to understand, if you're an hourly worker, make sure the company pays you weekly and gives you a wage statement. Because if they don't, which indicates the wage statement has to indicate your rate of pay, how much money you got each week, how many hours you work, there are penalties, significant penalties under New York state law. So there's a lot of things that I want our viewers to be, aware of.
I also want to be able to tackle for a moment what happens for those persons that are receiving tips. We know that there's some legislation that really deals with those who receive tips.
Well, the tip sharing is, if you work in a restaurant, do not allow the restaurant to share your tips with the cooks. It's only for the wait staff. That's very important. And there are just so many different rules. I have cases where I represent employees, workers who are not paid weekly. Believe it or not, if you're not paid once a week, if you're paid once every 2 weeks, that violates the law and you have a valid claim. So, people really have to know their rights, especially people that are working now at minimum wage, which is now, again, $16 an hour.
And we know now the wage increase is in effect. But what for an employee is if they're in a situation where I'm working my job, I've yet to see the minimum wage increase hit in my own paycheck, what repercussions do they have?
If the employer doesn't give you the proper wage?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, there's liquidated damages, there's attorney's fees. People should run to a lawyer. Don't walk, run. They can call me anytime. My number is 917-371-8000. And I will give you advice. I'm not going to charge you. I'll tell you what rights you have. People can then decide whether they want to contact the Department of Labor and file a claim, whether they want to hire a lawyer to do that. If they have a discrimination case, maybe they're being underpaid on the basis of their race, right? Maybe minorities are not getting the correct rate of pay compared to similarly situated white workers. Well, you may have a claim there. You can file a charge with the New York State Division of Human Rights, the EEOC, or the New York City Human Rights Commission. And of course, Daren, you always talk about if you're fired. I have a new book out called Fired. It's hard to see holding it up. But in any event, I want our viewers to know that if anyone gets fired and they're not offered severance pay, that's another area that they can address, because every firing is negotiable.
Yeah. And for home care aides and those persons. This law also has impact as well. Can you walk us through a little bit about home care aides are going to be impacted
Sure.
with this new legislation?
Well, home care aides have their unique set of circumstances and facts. Suppose you're required to stay on the job to care for somebody that's sick for 24 hours, and maybe part of your time is when the person is napping, or you have to stay there at night, and you're not allowed to go home because you got to work there. You're going to get paid 24 hours. I had several cases in the past year where I represented nannies and home workers, and we were able to we demanded and received additional pay for time that we were spent there because we couldn't go home. A lot of benefits of being a home worker. Check with, maybe you were hired by an agency, or maybe you don't know your rights. Speak to somebody about that because you have rights to enforce.
Yeah. While we talk about the fact that workers themselves will see that increase, what does it mean for the employer, for the business, having this increase and having to deal with that?
Well, they'll always gripe, right? But we think that hiring more incentivized workers, more productive workers, will only accelerate profitability for the employer. Yeah, they may have to cut their costs in other areas, but isn't making satisfied workers the most important thing that an employer should be aware of? I mean, really. I mean, $16 an hour is not earth shattering, but it's well deserved. And hopefully over the next few years, it'll even be higher. It'll grow to like, the low 20s. But for now, we have to be happy with what we got. And the bottom line is, it's not just $16 an hour, like I said. If you work overtime, then it's an hour and a half more because you have to multiply the $16 times 1.5 times your average hourly rate if you're working more than 40 hours. If you work more than 10 hours in a given day, you're entitled to another hour of pay, and the employer is obligated to give you a wage statement which notifies you of the rate of pay, the hours that you're being paid, and they can't skimp on that. Or they're liable for significant damages, liquidated damages, and attorney's fees under the New York labor law.
Looking at a state like New York and knowing that this legislation is now in effect, what else can we anticipate going across maybe several other states nationwide?
Well, I will tell you this: New York is leading the states in terms of minimum wage, but we're also looking at areas that I'm hopeful the law will be changed. Recently, a law was vetoed in New York State just the last month, where it would have eliminated a restrictive covenants not to compete, covenants not to solicit. In California, for example, and other states, any type of restrictive covenant which restricts a person's ability to earn a living, right, is illegal. New York is very close to enacting legislation to get rid of that. Hopefully that will happen in the near term.
So as we look and talk about the near term, this was a long time coming. Give us some background as to how long this has been in the pipeline before this legislation actually took effect.
Wow. Well, there's been, increases over time. If I remember, like 10 years ago, it was $7.50 an hour. And then it went to 9, and then it went to 11, and then 13. So this is the culmination of, of an attempt to improve people's lives by paying them more money for their wages. It's a long time coming. It's progress. Hopefully there'll be more increases. Maybe if we have continued inflation, people that don't work for, let's say, that are not union workers under collective bargaining agreements, which automatically sometimes get cost of living increases, right? Depending on inflation. I know Social Security recipients this year in 2024 are getting another like 3.8% in their Social Security benefits. I mean, it's just life. Things are getting more expensive. People need more money to pay their bills, and this is just a fabulous, improvement in that.
Let me tie into a little bit about your book that you lifted up just a few minutes ago. Say, for instance, an employee works for a company. That employer can't maintain the $16 an hour, decides they want to terminate. What repercussions do you have? Where do you go from there, according to Stephen Mitchell Sack?
Thank you. Well, if you've been at a company for a long time, and you're fired through no fault of your own, like, you're not fired for punching somebody out or drinking on the job. You're fired for a job elimination because the employer can't afford you, right? Even if you were there a long time and didn't do anything wrong, I would strongly urge everybody to request a meeting with your supervisor, with the owner of the company, and demand some severance pay. Maybe you should get, 2 weeks per year, especially if you've been there for more than 10 years. Continued COBRA, which is medical benefits, but paid by the ex-employer, not for you to pay for it, but paid by the employer. Outplacement, job, which can help you with job assistance. If you're fired right before an expected bonus, or you're getting close to a pension or profit sharing plan, Daren, don't allow the company to just unilaterally terminate you. You must demand in a negotiation additional benefits. Remember, every firing is negotiable. I do this like 800 times a year. More often than not, I'm successful in getting more money for clients. So if you're terminated through no fault of your own, and you've been in the company more than a few years, I would strongly urge you to consider requesting a meeting and trying to get a better package.
Somebody else asked the question, what about if you're a part-time employee and you're terminated? What is the grounds for a package there?
Probably not great. Obviously, you want to make sure you get all your accrued vacation time and any monies, wages that you're owed through the termination. But part-time workers don't have the strength to negotiate like long-term employees are. So I would say, candidly, that it's not really going to be a fruitful endeavor.
Yeah. A lot of information we gave out here. Stephen Mitchell-Sack, thank you so much for being with us. And as we talk about the minimum wage increase affecting here in New York and also in the suburbs. Thanks a lot. For more information now.
If I could just say one more time, Daren, if people want to call me, 917-371-8000. There's no charge. If they want to send me an email, StephenSack, atty@hotmail.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephen. You just took my job from me. For more information, visit the website at theemployeeslawyer.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
Thank you, BronxNet. Congratulations on 30 years. What an amazing accomplishment. On behalf of myself, Alina Dow, and I represent the Dow Twins and the Dow Twins Show, who are young producers. They started, I think, when they were 11, and now they're 14. They started making 30-second little fun facts, and now they are doing 30-minute shows. And it goes to a testament of how much you guys do in the Bronx to make young people want to continue to be involved. I wish you 30 more amazing years and beyond. Thank you for what you do.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Kat from the Kitty Rose Lifestyle, also from The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray every week right here at BronxNet, Saturdays at 11 p.m. Wow, 30 years. 30 years of BronxNet public access television. I'm a girl from Brooklyn and came to the Bronx 25 years ago, started my journey on BronxNet on public access television in 2016, and BronxNet is where I got my start. BronxNet, I feel like, is a home away from home. They support all of my endeavors, and I wouldn't have been able to be on any of the other channels if it wasn't for the fundamentals that I learned right here at my start here at BronxNet. So I am so appreciative. My son says I should stop telling people I'm from Brooklyn because I've been here now, Bronx Strong, for 22 years. So I'm so grateful, and I wish you much success in 30 years, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 more, because public access is necessary so that people like myself can have a voice. Yes, BronxNet, it's your girl Kat from Kitty Rose. Check me out every Saturday at 11 p.m. right here, Channel 68, The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray. Mwah.
And we are back. While more Americans are seeking therapy than ever before, many people being matched with the wrong therapist. So how do we take the guesswork out of finding which one is the right therapist? Here now with some insights and solutions is the Vice President of Clinical Care at Two Chairs, Colleen Marshall. And Colleen, we know that this is something that is a problem in many areas because you got some people who just desire to get acquainted with the therapist, but then when we start talking and we start meeting, things just don't go together. How common and how prevalent, I guess, should I say, is this?
Yeah, so finding the right therapist is really critical to therapy. Therapy is a relationship-based intervention, which means the relationship has to be right from the very beginning for it to work. Unfortunately, many people actually only go to the one therapy appointment and then they drop out of care thinking that therapy just isn't right for them. What we know is they just didn't find the right therapist. The match wasn't right. And what we hear from our clients is actually 1 in 5 tell us that the reason that they quit therapy was because they didn't trust their therapist. They didn't feel like it was the right person for them, which is really unfortunate. We know about 50% of people who need treatment need actually about 15 to 20 sessions to see any benefit from therapy. So it's real important we get the relationship right from the very beginning so clients get the benefit from therapy and stay in care.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about going one time and calling it quits, and that's what a lot of people do. They go one time, call it quits. What advice do you have in terms of sticking it out, and how long should a client stick it out before they decide to make a change?
Yeah, so at Two Chairs, what we recommend to our clients is that they try 2 to 3 sessions at a minimum just to make sure that the relationship is right. And if it's not, then we would issue a rematch. We'd get them a new provider because we have this matchmaking system to take the guesswork out of finding the right therapist. But if you're not at Two Chairs and you're seeing a therapist on your own, I would say the same. Give it 2 to 3 sessions. But if you're really feeling like the relationship isn't right, you don't feel like your therapist understands you, you feel judged by your therapist, you don't feel like you're working on mutually established goals, you don't feel like you're making progress in care, talk to your therapist about that. And if they're able to respond and adjust to your feedback, that's a good sign. But the American Psychological Association says that what makes a strong therapeutic relationship and alliance is when the therapist and the client both are working on mutually established goals, that the therapist is getting feedback, receiving feedback from the client and adjusting care based on that. And also any relationship issues that are coming up are being attended to. So those are the kinds of things I'm looking for, but I would say stick it out for 2 to 3 sessions to see. But then if the relationship isn't right, then do change and find a different therapist because the relationship has to be right for therapy to work.
Yeah, and I was going to say that, for yourself and matchmakers, you got pretty much a formula here and doing pairing. Talk to us about how you came up with this feature.
Yeah, so we think that the therapeutic relationship is super important to any clinical outcomes that clients are going to get. So we did a lot of research on looking at what the research says about what specifically is important in that relationship that needs to be there. And then we built the matchmaking appointment also. So the way Matchmaker works at Two Chairs is you meet with a licensed therapist for about 45 minutes, and they assess not only what are you coming in care for and what are your treatment goals and what specialty does the therapist need to have to be able to treat you. They also are assessing what your preferences are. So what are you looking for in a provider? Maybe there's demographic importance to you. Maybe there's age or gender or a culture or a specific background, or there's stylistic differences. You might want someone who's more direct or less direct, or someone who's more expressive, less expressive. And the therapist walks through this matchmaking session with the client and then takes all that information and puts it in our matchmaker algorithm, which then matches the client on about 300 different factors to make sure that the client's getting the right therapist from the beginning. The good news is, this is working because our data tells us so. About 98% of the time we get the match right the first time. And 2% of the time we would issue a rematch and get them a new therapist if it wasn't the right one from the beginning. And we can see based on our clients' attendance that this is working. The national standard right now is that 33% of clients in care only make it to their 4th therapy appointment. They drop out before then. At 2 Chairs, 90% of our clients make it to the 4th therapy appointment. So that tells us that we're getting the match right and that the relationships are strong.
So getting to that 4th appointment is pretty critical. We hear about so many people, as we said at the beginning of the interview, that they drop out after the first segment, or the first session. Now you've got people staying and going through. Share with me a little bit about mental health, how that plays out in therapy sessions. We have so many people who are dealing with mental health challenges. How often should a person really make the time of checking in when it comes to the issue of mental health?
Yeah, so it really depends on what your goals are in care, but most mental health treatment's going to start with a weekly session and then titrating out to bi-weekly or monthly once you start to feel better. At 2 Chairs, we have what we call mental health check-ins as well, but what we use there is also data, because we think it's really important to have measurement-based care as part of treatment. So what that means is we're using standardized measures clients are filling out, so the client can see themselves and that mental health check-in, how they're doing. Are they getting better? Are they staying the same? Getting worse? Are they seeing improvements in the symptoms and the reasons that they came into care? And if they're not, then the therapist can adjust treatment. And our therapists also have access to that same data in their platform where they can monitor progress over time. So we think it's important that you have the cadence of treatment that's right, that you're being seen. Also using data to really know whether you're getting better.
Yeah. If a person's out there and this really appeals to them, how do they go about getting more information?
Yeah, so 2chairs.com, they can go direct to our website and make matching appointments directly there. We're in California.
And the last thing I'll ask before we go is talk to me a little bit about family therapy and what's that looking like these days. And we talk about individual therapy. How's family therapy playing out?
Yeah, so family therapy is part of lots of different treatment modalities, specifically when we're working with adolescents or young people. Family therapy is critical to really work through the relationships of what's family dynamic. And so there's a lot of folks that are both doing individual therapy, family therapy. It just really depends on what the goals are or what the issues are that you're coming in.
Yeah. Well, Colleen, I want to thank you so much for being with us and really sharing some more pertinent information, and glad to have you.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a great day.
You have a good one now. Well, listen, if you want more information, visit the website at 2chairs.com. We encourage you, don't go anywhere. We'll be back more open right after this.
30 years of BronxNet, 4 years of modern noticing. Broadcasting stories that may inspire you, untold or underreported stories. BronxNet, your story is heard. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching Modern Odyssey on BronxNet. Only 57% of New York City high school students are college ready by their senior year. 55% of high school graduates either have no plans to attend college or are uncertain that they will ever attend.
34% of young adults don't go to college because they can't afford it. Discover what's possible. BronxNet's education programs, internships, and opportunities help engage and inspire Bronx youth and beyond to pursue their passions. Be a part of the BronxNet family. Whether you're interested in our shows, joining a class, or donating to support our mission, visit bronxnet.org to learn more.
And we are back, dedicated to advancing student academic growth. Bronx Community College offers over 40 programs equipping students for further education at a four-year institution or the commencement of their careers. We've got now, providing some insight, the registrar at CUNY Bronx Community College. We've got Karen Thomas here with us. And Karen, good to have you.
Good morning. How are you?
I don't know if I can hear Karen. I think I need to get her in my ear. Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I think she can hear me. I just can't hear her. All right, I think we're on now. And Karen, as we talk about the 2024 semester, we are ready for the spring. How are things going on your end in terms of anticipating spring registration?
Thank you, and good morning. We began our in-person advisement registration this past Monday, which is going very well. Our students are excited to be here. We have a robust number of services that we can offer our students. Our enrollment is just thriving and trending in the right direction. And I look forward to assisting all the students with their needs so they can re-enroll back into the college.
And when we talk about the spring semester, it's pretty exciting, particularly for you as well, because you have students who are actually returning, coming back from the fall, but then you also have a lot of new admission as well.
Yes. So our freshman population, new student transfer and new student freshmen, continues to grow. They're meeting expectations, and we have a lot of non-traditional students, adult learners, that are re-enrolling back into the college. We have offered through our Bronco Reconnect initiative. We have students that former BCC, and now they want to return back to finish their degree. And Bronx Community College, through the guidance of CUNY Central, is offering forgiveness grant money, is offering graduation completion money for a student to complete their last class. And for new freshmen, they're offering all types of services and tools that they need, for example, like laptops, electronic devices, etc. So these incentives are definitely pulling our students back into Bronx Community College to complete their degree.
And I want to go for a minute and walk me through, share a little bit with me about the BCC Bronco Reconnect, because there is an opportunity for students to really get merged in. And I know I'm a little bit familiar with it, but can you share a little bit with our viewers about how this really helps the student be able to navigate the reentry process and getting back into education?
Yes, so I'm actually pretty excited about the Reconnect, Bronco Reconnect initiative here at the college. We've offered already in 2023 three what we call Bronco Reconnect Mixers, and that's an event that's catered just towards the readmit student / adult learner to come back to school, and new freshmen and transfer who are adult learners to to re-enroll into the college. What this initiative does is provide a one-stop shop type service. So we connect the student with a mentor at the college. We connect the student with the Learning Commons for tutoring. We connect the student with their own financial aid counselor to help them navigate financial aid process. We also connect them with a Bronco Reconnect navigator, and that's the person that's basically their own personal, like, so to speak, assistant, to help them pick out their courses with advisement, to help them if they have trouble, challenges in the course with a professor, to be the, so to speak, student ombudsman. So it's more like a personal hands-on approach to helping these students navigate for their last class to graduate. And that's what the main push is. We tell the students, hey, we reviewed your record. We like you to readmit back into the school. We know that you only have one class to graduate. The Bronco Reconnect initiative will pay the tuition charges for that last class if you come back. And these are the services that will give and help you with the tools so you can finish. So it's a huge initiative, and so far it's been very successful, and we continue to thrive in it.
Unfortunately, COVID really put us in a place where a lot of students have to rely on going to education online. What are you seeing by way of online education right now and the numbers that you're experiencing?
Well, the online programs is actually increasing. So it's been a mix of hybrid. That's most attractive to a lot of students to do their schedules in a hybrid format. The online, we've been approved for a few online programs. We've seen an increase in interest in those programs. We offer virtual counter services from all the academic and enrollment service office, such as my office, Registrar, financial aid, admissions, etc., because the students, they feel more comfortable with a hybrid environment. So we try to do both because the online program student enrollment has increased, and we're looking to actually push that online program even more because this is what the needs of the community surrounding us. This is what they're telling us that they need to have a hybrid online environment.
We got January here, almost midway through. Let's talk about what are some of the deadlines that people need to be paying attention to.
So we start school January 25th for spring 2024. Winter has already began. The deadline for Pell distribution is the first week in February. The classes in enrollment, all of that has been solidified with verification of enrollment. So that's February, I believe, 13th. So what we've done is highlight some of the important dates on the BCC academic calendar on the Registrar's Office webpage, www.bcc.cuny.edu/registrar. You could check it out. And then we also send a broadcast to the college community with the highlights of these important dates.
You know, I have to admit that when we talk about BCC, it's a unique institution only because of the fact that when I look at the amount of countries that students actually come from, more than 100 countries you've got students coming from. A lot to manage, huh?
Yes, but that's what makes us so robust. You know, we're very diverse. We share, you know, different ideas and different visions and different strategies, but at the end of the day, those differences, what brings us together, because something that I don't know, I can learn from my fellow student or my fellow faculty member or my fellow administrator. So what makes us very diverse is our biggest strength.
And so registration is ongoing right now. You do know about the the enrollment deadlines. And for you and your staff, what's it like during this time of year, given the fact that you're preparing for that second semester and you just came off the holidays?
The holidays were great. You know, it's always good to share your many blessings. But as registrar folks, this is our peak time. We know it's crucial to the college community. We are the hub of the college. Just about every processee, student record-wise, runs through this office. So, you know, we look forward to it. It's not a challenge. It's more of a reward when we know that we have helped the student, even if it's just one student. So we're used to it. We look forward to it. And, you know, we do the best we can.
And for students who may be technologically challenged, meaning I don't have access to a laptop, computer, which is the case for a lot of students out there, what options are available for them to be able to, you know, navigate studies and have access to technology?
So for new students, new freshmen and transfer, they attend a new student orientation that's virtual. Once they've completed that, they receive a certificate, and then they also receive an electronic device. So whether it's a laptop or an iPad, etc., the college does provide that for new freshmen, new transfer. For continuing students, they are eligible as well. They have a separate orientation as a refresher to continuing students, so to remind them of the services that they are eligible for. So whether it's an electronic device or whether it's services with our food pantry, et cetera, or counseling, et cetera, continuing students have that opportunity as well. Our information technology department is excellent. They have a center in Roscoe Brown on the 3rd floor where a student, if they need electronic device assistance, they can receive a loaner. So BCC does care. It's just that we have to get the word out to these students so that they are aware of what services and tools they have.
Karen Thomas, we want to thank you so much for being with us. And as always, I know it's a busy time for you, but I want to thank you for taking the time to hang out with us for a little while, getting that word out about the registration and the enrollment information. Once again, please put out that enrollment deadline.
Yes, we start school at January 25th. So if you want all your classes to be verified and solidified, we need your registration completed by then.
All right. Well, we want to let our viewers know, if you want more information, visit the website, bcc.cuny.edu. Encourage you, don't go anywhere. We will be back with more Open coming up right after this.
Congratulations, BronxNet, on your 30th anniversary. Bronx Best is my show, and I had a great experience being able to bring my story to the Bronx Network. It's really changed my life, and I look forward to growing with the network, and I think that it's a wonderful place to grow and learn. And I think that everyone should take advantage of all the wonderful programs and things that go on here.
This year, BronxNet Community Television needs your support. For more than 30 years, we've been providing community programming shows, education courses, and access to our world-class television studios, a place where Bronx residents can call home. Community leaders and organizations can share their ideas, stories, and passions for what matters to us. We are still going strong, working hard each day, building new studios, creating new jobs, and expanding our digital inclusion opportunities so that your voices can still be heard. Every dollar counts. Donate to BronxNet and keep the momentum going and continue building a better Bronx with BronxNet.
And we are back. Clean Slate Janitorial is not your average cleaning service. It's a company that's born out of passion for maintaining pristine environments and a commitment to providing exceptional services. Joining us now is the owner of Clean Slate Janitorial, Adon, and we thank you so much for being with us, Dawn.
Thank you for having me.
And when we talk about a company that is, you're engaged in cleaning services, but it's so much more for you than just a company that's about cleaning services. You're an entrepreneur at heart.
Yes, I am. We're passionate about our business.
Yeah. And when we talk about being passionate about the business, obviously you're commercial as well as residential.
Yes, we are located in the Bronx, and we specialize in cleaning for commercial and residential properties.
And when we talk about being connected with commercial residential properties, a lot of people are looking these days. Are you finding anything in specific by way of client demands?
Yes, there is a lot of demand for commercial cleaning as well as residential. So right now we're doing several projects for residential and commercial. There's the demand. People are busy. You have various professions like nurses, doctors, teachers, all the professions. And people are on the run.
Yeah.
So it was born out of providing a clean, comfortable environment for persons.
And for a lot of people too, it's also that time right after COVID where we understand sanitization being huge and cleaning being huge. What were you able to discover coming out of COVID in terms of what people wanted?
Yes, out of COVID, first of all, my business started in 2020 during the pandemic. Yes, I was working part-time or working full-time home. And it was the opportune time for me to start my cleaning business. And persons are calling, persons are saying, yes, we want cleaning. My space needs to be clean, to be sanitized. So definitely, after the pandemic, the demand has risen.
Yeah. And you have a personal connection when it comes to cleaning.
Definitely. Based on my background growing up, my parents usually say, make sure your environment is clean. We had to scrub those floors and the place had to be pristine. So that connection, that personal connection, on that premise, I always wanted to own my own cleaning company, and I never stopped.
Yeah. And we were talking a little bit off camera about how you are at MWBE too. And even though you started in 2020, you are an official MWBE. And we know that for people who try to do this, that doesn't always happen as fast. But what's it mean for you to be an MWBE right now? Which is what? Further, let's tell people what MWBE is.
Well, MWBE, the acronym stands for Minority Woman-Owned Business Enterprise. And this affords us the opportunity and privilege to receive contracts from the government. So here we can meet other small business owners in the same field and otherwise, and network. So it's truly a privilege. And it took me about a month to upload all my documents and get certified. People were surprised, but I was on it. I was determined to get the certification.
And now that you have it, what does it mean to you to have to go through this process? And at the same time say, I got it now.
I got it now, yes. And I'm hoping to receive contracts very soon. I'm leading up to that.
And for your clients, obviously, it's also an opportunity for you to connect with them. Relationships are very important in this business. Talk to us a little bit about the relationship component, because I think everybody thinks that when it comes to business, it's just, it's pretty cut and dry. But no, there's a lot that goes in the middle, and that relationship component is huge.
Very important. Relationships are everything. So we ensure that our clients are, they depend on us for reliability, efficiency, and quality service. Our business is built on trustworthiness. So although I'm the business owner, I ensure that on many occasions, I am on site, to inspect the work done by my staff, and also to meet and greet our clients. We have an excellent, very good relationship with clients. They call us, they do reviews on our website, and it's excellent.
Yeah. So give me a typical day for some of your business. What's it like, and give us what does the calendar look like?
Oh, on a typical day, there are lows and highs. Some days we'll have 3 clients, some days 5. Remember, we're still building and growing.
Right.
So we go through typically, sometimes it's 1 commercial property, 2 residential, and we actually execute and do an excellent job.
Yeah. What's the challenge, if you could say, of being an entrepreneur, starting a business right now, and really keeping it going? What's the biggest challenge for you?
The challenge could be equipment, purchasing equipment and having somewhere to store those equipment. So what we do, we mainly rent equipment, and it's not a problem at all, but that could be a challenge. We're planning now to purchase equipment as we grow, but that is in the making.
And so talk to me about the future. What does the future hold for you?
The future holds for me is to become one of the greatest and biggest company in New York State. Clean State Janitorial LLC is doing very well at this moment, and we decided to get several city contracts and work all around and extend our business. It's looking great so far.
How'd you come up with the name Clean Slate?
Clean Slate Janitorial came from my two children. When in the pandemic we were saying which name to give this company. My two children, Carrie and Siobhan, and they said, Mom, Clean Slate, come with it. And I said, oh, Clean Slate Janitorial LLC. So all three of us, we came up with that name, thanks to them.
Yeah, gotta be a good feeling there.
Yes.
And so for you, how long have you been this entrepreneur and how long have you been doing your own thing?
Well, to be honest, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've sold Mary Kay products, Mary Kay Cosmetics. I've always been trying to do something for myself, but for this business started in 2020, this cleaning business as an entrepreneur. It started in 2020. Amazing. But I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
Right. And for cleaning, we know that many times residential, a lot of challenges these days in residential housing. Talk to me about the residential market right now. Is it open, and is there a lot of opportunity for people to do residential work?
There's a lot of opportunities there because, as I said before, persons are on the run. These various professions keep people really busy. So I'm getting a lot of calls for this. I have carpet, how much does it charge? I have tile, I have this type of rug. So the market is there, it is open.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so for people who want to get connected to your service, what do they go about doing?
Oh, please feel free to send us an email or visit our website, which is csjanitors.com.
csjanitors.com.
Yes.
And 2024 is looking uphill for you.
Very much. And you can call me too, as my name is Dawn, as you said, 646-318-2494.
Well, Dawn, I want to thank you so much for coming and being with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's certainly great having you here, the owner of Clean Slate Janitorial, and some great things happening in 2024. Thank you for taking the time and coming and hanging out with us.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
All righty.
Okay.
Well, if you want more information, do me a favor, visit the website at csjanitors.com. I want to let you know we come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and most of all you, the viewer, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch Recablecast on Optimum's Channel 67, Verizon Files Channel 2133, or watch us anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. If your heart's desire is for a brand new episode of Open, come on back Friday. My girl Rena Valentine will be here talking about arts and entertainment. I want to let you know this about wraps up this episode for us. I am Daren Jaime, saying make sure you keep this channel wide open, saying take care and God bless.